Hi, everyone. I'm here today to do another installment of What Did I Create? It's a full moon in Scorpio. This is going to be for the full moon in Scorpio on May the 15th at 9:14 p.m. So today we're going to be doing a reading with my friend Angie. Angie, can you say hello?
Hi, this is Sasha.
So Angie, hi, baby. Angie has been kind enough to let me do her transit reading here for you so that my fellow astro nerds who are, not really beginners in astrology, but know enough about astrology to read their own natal chart and are trying to learn how to find and interpret transits in their chart. So this is going to be a demonstration of that, as well as a general reading for all signs for the full moon in Scorpio. So Angie, what we're going to do, well, first of all, I want to say one thing. I want to introduce everyone a little bit to my friend Angie, because what she doesn't know is that, well, what you guys don't know about Angie is that Angie, in the very beginning, when I first started Missy's Essentials on Facebook, and I was trying to get my name out there, trying to get the word out there for people that I do readings, Angie was trying to help me so hard. Oh my God, this girl bought me pieces of equipment. She was trying to help me learn how to do this stuff right here, these videos, the editing, so that I could get on YouTube. This girl, I mean, you have my heart forever, just so that you know, because I mean, exactly, yes. So we are now full circle, and Angie, look it, I figured it out. Oh my God.
Yay!
And what's so funny about that is, when we first met, I didn't know what neurodivergence meant. I don't know if you know what it means or not, but I just recently learned what it means, and all that help that you had been giving me, all those times that you were sending me pieces of equipment and talking to me and trying to help me over the phone. You know what the problem was? I needed it to be visual. I needed to see it happening like real time so that I could learn how to do it. I needed it to be visual. And so I just recently discovered that about myself. But here I am. I figured it out. And I hope you guys are happy to meet Angie, because she really is a big part of me being like, I cannot even say enough how much I love you. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this reading. So we're going to start with the full moon in Scorpio reading. And what I'm going to do is I am going to pull up some charts. Give me 1 second. All right. Well, yeah, here we go. All right, so here we have, and I need to move a couple of things around. Give me 1 second to figure this out, because, like I said, I am not really a techie kind of person. And let's see, we need to do gallery, I think no, wait, that's the wrong one. How do I do the thing to make it go? I don't know what that is. I don't know what I just did, you guys. You see what I mean? And I know she's laughing over there. She's like, oh my God. Anyway, okay, so I don't know what I just did, but I'm going to try and move this thing out of the way so that I can see my other screen. There we go. I figured it out. Okay. All right. We got it. Full moon in Scorpio. All right. So we're going to start off with the ascendant for this. Actually, for this full moon, the full moon is falling in the 12th house in Scorpio, and it is conjunct the North Node and Earth, obviously, because it is the Earth is always, in any astrological chart, Earth is always opposite of the sun. So Earth in a chart, for anyone who doesn't know, this is going to represent a manifestation, especially when it is a full moon, because that's what a full moon is anyway. Having the full moon in conjunction to the South Node, and it's in the third decan of Scorpio, this is energy of, a lot of emotional turmoil, a lot of really intense emotions, because, and I say emotional turmoil because we have all of this energy in opposition, excuse me, in opposition to Uranus, the sun, kind of Mercury, but not really. He's out of orb really for this, and out of sign really for this opposition. But Uranus will bring in chaos. And I apologize for, I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat. Uranus brings in the energy of chaos. And so when you have the moon in conjunction to the South Node and it's bringing in a manifestation, that means it's bringing in chaos, right? So you will probably, I know for me, I'm already feeling the energies of this kind of, intense, emotional, probably there have been some outbursts, especially for those who are on the fixed axis, meaning Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius, or Leo. You may have, these emotional outbursts may result in, relationships that are ending, having falling outs with, the people that you work with, things like that, right? So there's a lot of transformation attached to Scorpio energy anyway. And when we had with the eclipse season that we're having this year, and we just started that with the new moon in Taurus, actually, as we're filming this, it just happened a couple of days ago. So that was the first eclipse in this Taurus Scorpio axis of eclipse seasons. We also have the nodes being the south node in Scorpio, the north node in Taurus. And so that's really important because, Scorpio and Taurus sit in the money houses, but these are also the love and sex houses, right? So money and relationships is going to be really important for a lot of people when it comes to this particular full moon. And anytime you have a full moon or you're looking at a full moon chart, what you really want to do is you want to look at the new moon that happened 6 months before, because the full moon is a manifestation of whatever intentions, actions, or decisions that you put into place during the new moon. That's just how the cycles work. And so, if we were to go and we were to look back, give me 1 second, if we were to look back at the new moon, actually, we're going to get to that one in a second. I don't know why I'm skipping ahead. I'm getting myself confused. Because this is the eclipse season and we have the south node in Scorpio, it's attached to the full moon and it's attached to the relationship and money houses, right? This means when you have the south node that you have to move away from your comfort zone, or you have to leave something behind in order to follow your true path, which is being shown by the north node. And right now the north node is sitting in the 6th house, which is the house of career. It's the house of your day-to-day work, how you spend your time each day if you don't actually have a job. This can also be attached to health issues, and charity issues as well, like how you can be of service to others. And so if you are having to leave something behind, and we have the south node in the 12th house, this means, there's some sort of dream attached to it, right? There's some sort of, and there's also, emotion attached to it because of the moon, but you're having to leave some sort of relationship behind that maybe you don't really want to leave behind. Maybe you feel like it's the end of a dream, or you could also feel as if maybe you've put so much focus into, into this whatever this dream or this situation is, and maybe you're not really getting the results that you want out of it, and because of that there needs to be an ending attached to it. I do have on here that I do want to talk about the ascendant trine Jupiter, because this talks about this particular energy. So let's back up a second. The ascendant is in Sagittarius, which means that everything in this chart is going to be ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is going to be the chart ruler. So Sagittarius is the energy of wanting to be adventurous, wanting to travel, wanting to learn new things. This is like higher education, going back to school. And so right now, a lot of people are probably finding that in their life. Maybe for work, you're having to travel, or maybe for work, you're having to go back to school. This is also energy of expansion as well, especially with the trine that's happening between the ascendant, and it's not so much Jupiter, more so Chiron, but Jupiter is still by wide orb involved in the trine because it's in the first degrees or in the first minute of Aries. So by element, it is a trine. And the reason that that's important is because Jupiter wants to expand. Jupiter wants to get things going. So if you have a business, you may be wanting to expand your business. If you are looking to expand your job or your career, you may want to go back to school, right? So this is all energy that's ruled by Sagittarius. So this is what everyone's focus is. This is the general portion of the reading. So everyone is feeling like they just want to get going. But the problem with having Jupiter in the first degree of Aries is that this is an anaretic degree. This is where you're maybe trying too hard or too quickly to get things started. Maybe you're pushing a little bit too much, but you haven't quite really understood the energy that you're trying to jump into yet. And so there's a little bit of maybe wisdom and healing that needs to happen, which is the reason that I call Jupiter part of this trine, even though it's a wide orb. It's like a 14-degree orb really for this trine. But Venus and Chiron are actually leading in the way. So, and that means that love is leading the way in terms of this healing or this wisdom or whatever, this is the education that you need, because we do, again, Sagittarius rules higher education, right? So that whatever this education is that you need in order to expand whatever it is that you want to expand. Now, for some people, that expansion is going to be in terms of, love, because we do have Pluto transiting the second house. It is at 28 degrees, 32 minutes of Capricorn, which means it's really close to 29 degrees of Capricorn. And again, when we talk about anaretic degrees, 29 degrees is a very difficult degree. This is a degree that says you're holding on too tightly to something that you need to be letting go of. So that gets back to this energy over here of what is it that you need to leave behind, or who is it that you need to leave behind? What is the fantasy, the dream that you've been holding on to that maybe is no longer possible, and it's time to walk away from that so that you can actually find your true path, the true healing, the true calling, or whatever it is that you're searching for, that's over here in the sixth house with the North Node and the Sun and Mercury and Uranus in Taurus. We also have Pallas Athena in Taurus, but she's kind of trailing behind. Now, Pallas Athena is important because this is, she was a warrioress, right? She fought for women's causes. So for you in particular, Angie, this is going to be really important. And oh, that light is bothering me. I hope you guys can still see me, but I guess it doesn't really matter. I don't want to move too much for the editing later, but whatever. It doesn't matter if you can see me or not. So let me take a breath. There's something else that I wanted to point out about this Pluto and vertex opposition that we have here. So this can be the energy, and going back to, if you have been holding on to the fantasy of whoever, whatever, okay, and you need to leave it behind, you really should leave it behind, because this Pluto vertex opposition is energy of suddenly meeting someone who can transform your life, right? This can be transformative in terms of money. It can be transformative in terms of love. And for some people, because of where the vertex is sitting, for some people, this can be even transformative in terms of like being in the public eye in some way. If you have like a creative career, like maybe this could be an agent that you might meet. Who knows? You never know, right? But if it's love, you don't want to be holding on to this person over here thinking they're the end all be all, when you might have your real person coming in and they may just pass you by because you're focused over here, right? Now, on the opposite end, because all planets and all transits have both positive and negative aspects to them, this, you can't get past the fact that Pluto rules the eighth house naturally. And so, Pluto is the planet of death. And so this is an opposition, and we are talking about energy where people may be leaving your life suddenly, or you may have to end relationships suddenly. And so, I'm not trying to say that people may die, but this is like literally energy of sudden endings of relationships, right? For some people, it could be death. And if that's the case, I am so very sorry. And at this point, I do want to bring up something incredibly important for this general portion of the reading. Just because of the way this transit is hitting, the way, where it sits and everything, if you happen to know anyone who is at risk of suicide, this is the time where you want to reach out and you want to make sure that you're staying in touch and providing support, because you don't want someone to feel as if they don't have that love or support in their life. And so, it's just something that, you know, I felt the need to say. But for others, you know, this could be like a natural ending to a relationship or something like that. I apologize for the way I'm moving. The sun is literally hitting me right in the eye. Oh, this probably wasn't the best time of day to record this, but that's okay. Let me look at my notes real quick to make sure that I'm not forgetting anything. I talked about travel for work, expanding your business. Oh, so the sun is bringing in a lot of clarity as well about what your real path is. And another thing that I forgot to bring up is Mercury is retrograde in this chart. And I forgot to look up the exact date that Mercury goes retrograde, but I will look that up and put it in the description for the video. But at this point, Mercury is retrograde. So one note that I wanted to make here is that Mercury being retrograde, and even though it's out of sign, and it is an 8-degree orb, Mercury is still in conjunction to the sun, and he's moving towards the sun, which means he's coming in to clear up misunderstandings, miscommunications, especially if it has to do with health and work issues, because this is the 6th house. So just be aware of that. If you've had a misunderstanding, a argument or a falling out with someone before this full moon, with Mercury going retrograde, there's actually a chance for things to be cleared up, for you to have that conversation. Also, we have all of this energy down here with Neptune and Mars in Pisces. So that's kind of helping things along. It's down here in the 4th house. So it's helping things along, in my opinion. So now we're going to move on to Angie's chart. I'm sorry, I was hitting the thing and it wasn't moving and I forgot what it was, what I was getting ready to move on to. So Angie, we're going to move on to your portion of the reading. And there's a couple of things about your natal chart that I really wanted to point out, because I think that it's very pertinent to what we've already talked about in terms of, you know, possible travel for work, not just coming up for you, but I think for you personally, just because looking at your chart, you have a Sagittarius ascendant. And not only that, you have Neptune and Mars conjoining your ascendant. So you're literally Neptune rising, right? Because Neptune is closer to your ascendant. So you're Neptune rising. Why is that important? First of all, welcome to the club. I'm Neptune rising as well. One thing about being Neptune rising is that other people can misunderstand us quite often, and they can see us as being a little bit naive, right? A little bit, you know, foolish about the decisions that we make. Probably you in particular, maybe when they first meet you, but not after they get to know you. And I'll explain why in a little bit. But the reason that I say that is because you have this Mars-Neptune conjunction, which gives you the oomph, in my opinion, to sort of go after your dreams, right? Mars is action and Mars is energy. And also this is all sitting in Sagittarius in your 1st house. And so, you know, I think this is the reason that you're always traveling for work. I think, well, that and the fact that the only placement that you have in your 4th house is Earth. So that tells me that home is literally wherever you make it, like you are your own home. And so you're going to be traveling, I think, probably for most of your life, but I think you might enjoy that just because of this Mars-Neptune ascendant conjunction that you have going on. This is also your feminine power, and it's conjoining your South Node, right? So why is that important? Oh, and I forgot to bring up Lilith as well, is conjoining your South Node and Juno. And that's all in your 1st house. This is all the stuff that everybody notices about you the first time that they meet you, or within talking to you for like 5 minutes. Number one, you're always traveling for work. You're not afraid to go after your dreams. You're not afraid to like jump really like spontaneously towards your dreams. Oh my God, this light is terrible. We did this at the wrong time, Ange. But anyway, but not only that, I think something that you may not know about yourself, or you may or may not realize, with this Lilith South Node conjunction that you have in the 1st house, I think that your emotional state influences the emotional state of the people around you. So if you're in a good mood, the other people are in a good mood, but if you're in a bad mood, other people are in a bad mood. And because you are typically very sunny, happy, bright, because you have this Jupiter, Sun, Venus conjunction up here in Scorpio in the 11th and 12th houses, which, that means that your sun, which is the brightest planet in the sky, right? The brightest star in the sky, is enclosed by both benefics, meaning the two most positive planets in a chart sit on either side of your sun. So that's sitting on either side of your soul. You're just happy, you're lovable, you're cuddly, you want to be generous and kind to everyone, you want to help others, you're charismatic, you're fun loving, you're probably a lot of fun to be around, you love to travel, you're really smart, you're really good at what you do. You also have this Pluto, Saturn, Mercury stellium in Libra in your 10th house, which tells me in your career, you're probably well known for being a really hard worker, being really good at what you do. I think that your reputation is something that you've worked really hard at. And let me just say, Pluto and Saturn actually get along really well when they're in their positive aspects, but when Pluto and Saturn and Mercury are in conjunction in their negative aspects, it can be really kind of maudlin and depressed. So when this is in its positive aspect at work, like you communicate well, you work in a group well, and you work by yourself well, you really know your stuff, like you do your job well, right? And oh my God, this lighting is terrible. I just looked over. Anyway, you do your stuff well, but I think when you get hard on yourself, or when you're a little bit down or depressed or upset about something, it can get a little bit dark. You might have a reputation for being a little bit dark in that respect. I think you also have a reputation of being a little bit powerful, like feminine power is, well, that's already, kind of prominent here with Juno and Lilith in your first house, and Mars as well. Let's see, what else did I want to point out about Jupiter is your chart ruler, by the way. And so having Jupiter sitting, in conjunction with Venus and your sun, I think is very positive. That means, for the most part, for your day-to-day life, you're going to be a very happy, positive person. Now, Venus in Scorpio is a little bit of a tricky placement. And you do have Venus in the first degree, within 1 degree of Scorpio. So I think this, again, it might make it just a little bit more tricky for you, because Venus and Scorpio can be a little bit obsessive, right? And a little bit not really controlling, but they're jealous, and they want to, like, what's theirs is theirs, right? They don't really like to share when it comes to love. And so being in the first degree, you may find it kind of hard to get relationships started because of that. So that's just something to kind of be aware of. But I think for the most part, like, you are just incredibly generous, kind, loving, and all of the good things that Jupiter brings in, being your chart ruler and having Sagittarius as your chart ruler. All right, so now we are going to look at what were you doing 6 months ago at the new moon in Scorpio, which would have been November the 4th of 2021. So I think this was right around the time, based on these transits, because this was coming in close to your birthday, or actually after your birthday. I apologize for that. This is after your birthday, a few days after your birthday. And this particular chart, just for my astrology nerds who are following along, when I cast this transit chart, because I wanted to look at what was the actions that Angie took at the time of the new moon, or what were the intentions that she was setting at the time of the new moon, I cast this transit chart with Angie's chart on the outside, because she would be she is creating the action or creating something, right? So it's her intention or her action based on the transits. What is that going to create? So the transits are in the center of the chart, and Angie is on the outer ring of the chart. So based on this, where your sun is coming into, or actually your sun, Venus, Jupiter is coming into conjunction with the new moon in the 8th house. So this tells me that this might have been right around the time when you probably sold your dad's house, or you had some sort of money coming in. Maybe there was like some sort of, hold on, that you had to, oh, that's right. I put on here because of the Pluto, Saturn, and Mercury conjunction to Mercury and Mars in your 7th house. I think you had to fight for it. Whatever this sale was, I think you had to like really fight for it and like negotiate hard or something. And then we have Mars coming into conjunction with your Venus. All right. So this is where I wanted to talk about like possible love and romance stuff, because I think at this time, which would have been about November of 2021, I think something happened because Hygeia, which is you, this is Hygeia, and Hygeia in a chart looks at your hygiene. Do you take care of yourself? Do you comb your hair? Do you go to the dentist? Do you put makeup on? Do you bathe? Do you do all the things to make yourself beautiful, right? Do you go to the doctor regularly? Do you go to the dentist? So Hygeia, or your hygiene, is coming into conjunction with the vertex in Virgo, which is in the 7th house. So Virgo is a sign that's all about like health and details, little details, right? And the 7th house is like partnerships, marriage. So this is one of the romance houses. And then I think with this particular conjunction, I think you were looking really good. I think because we have the moon in an exact conjunction to your Jupiter in the 12th house, you were feeling really good, like emotionally. And with the vertex transiting your 5th house, which is the house of romance, right? That you were like, there was like, you may have been orbiting somebody who, when they saw you, when I look at all of this, I get that song Hurricane by, I think it's Luke Combs. You know that song, when you walked in with your hair blowing in the wind, or wait, something, you walked in with your hair in the wind, baby without warning or something, and it had My Heart Storming. I think somebody saw you and they were like, ooh, she looks good, right? And so I don't know. I think there was something about it, and you may have maybe tried to say something because you have Mars coming into conjunction with Venus up here in your 10th house. So maybe you tried to flirt or you tried to say something. I don't know, but I think that might be coming into play now, because this is what I'm pointing out from, 6 months ago. Also, this Mars in conjunction with Venus is where I think you really had to like fight for whatever this this money is. That I think there was something, you had some money coming in or something with this particular transit 6 months ago. So based on that, we are now going to move on to the full moon, which is what's going to be happening on May 15th. So about a month from now, a little less than a month from now. So what have you manifested based on all of this energy? Selling the house, possibly blowing someone's mind when you walked into the room because you looked so good, even if you don't know that you may have blown their mind, because I think it's really possible. I think, well, let's start off with the where is the full moon hitting? So the full moon is going to be hitting your 11th house, and it's actually coming into conjunction. It's coming into conjunction with your Jupiter, your Pallas Athena in the 11th house. Okay. So when the moon and Jupiter come into conjunction, that means that your emotions are going to be kind of blown out of proportion, right? Like it's going to, Jupiter makes everything bigger. And remember when I say that all planets have a positive and a negative aspect to them. So where Jupiter can be very, charismatic and fun loving and kind of loud at a party, but that's the fun part about them being loud at a party. When it's attached to the moon and emotion, that's like loud because I'm hurt and I'm angry, right? Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be angry. It's just that Jupiter being in conjunction to your Pallas Athena means that when you feel like you need to fight for yourself or fight for your rights or fight for women's issues or fight for the underdog, like you probably can blow things out of proportion a little bit. And having the moon and Earth and your North Node coming into conjunction with all of this energy, I feel like you're feeling like you're having to fight for whatever your path is, or whatever your like, well, because it's your North Node. It's it's the South Node. Sorry, it's the South Node hitting towards your North Node. So it's not just what your path is, but also relationships that you may have to leave behind. And so when I talk about like this blowing things out of proportion because your emotions are so heavy, there might be somebody in your life. If it hasn't already happened, you could start feeling it like coming up pretty soon, because this is Jupiter attached to this energy, right? And I know the moon moves really fast and everything, but we do have the North Node sitting there already. Because you're a Scorpio sun, the North Node is going to be in your sign, and the nodes are going to be affecting you for the next several, like a year, I think, or more, because I can't remember the exact date that the nodes changed signs. I think it was late last year. Okay, so it's an 18-month transit. So the focus is going to be on relationships for you in particular, because you're a Scorpio sun, for the next 18 months. And right now with this full moon, this is energy of leaving something behind, but I don't think you want to. I really don't think you want to, but I think this is attached to you having to fight for yourself, you having to fight for your rights and what's good for you and what's right for you, because of the fact that you have Chiron in Taurus at 26 degrees, which is in conjunction to the sun, the North Node, Vulcan, and Uranus, but some of those are kind of by wide orb. I'm just including them because this is all of the energy of the full moon anyway, and it's the Chiron is the only thing that you have in that house and in that area, and Chiron is all about healing. And this is bringing clarity about your true path. And then now, if you look at where our Pluto and the vertex, well, the vertex is sitting in your 8th house. Pluto is sitting in your 2nd house. Okay, so this could be money for you, where this suddenly meeting someone who can be transformative for you, or having a sudden ending in a relationship that can be transformative for you. Again, this can be transformative either through love or money. You are the only one who really knows how that's actually playing out right now, but also just keep in mind, you still have a month before all of this energy continues playing out. There's still, time for a person to come in and say something where maybe you guys are like, damn, if it was a different place, a different time, and I feel like that because of this Pisces energy with Jupiter in Aries right here, but you got this Mars and Neptune and Pisces down here in the 3rd house, and even Jupiter in Aries is in the 3rd house. It's like, man, I really wish we could put these dreams into play, but like we kind of can't do it yet, because there's all this over here with Venus and Chiron transiting the 4th house that has to happen first. And remember when I was saying earlier in the video, this is healing healing through love that has to lead the way. Like whatever all this energy is, you can't, it's just not possible. It's, at least at this time, it's not possible, because all of this healing has to take place. So you're going to have to leave somebody behind, or you're going to have to leave something behind that was a dream. But it's ultimately, I think, going to be something that's really, really positive. And something else I want to say about vertex in the 8th house. This is also a transit for like mediumship, psychic ability, psychic phenomena. If you have been experiencing like paranormal activity, especially with ghosts, because you are a Scorpio sun, which means you already have this, innately in your chart and in your soul anyway. And then you have the Jupiter and Venus attached to your sun. So in my opinion, that's going to make you have a lot of like psychic abilities anyway. But to have the vertex transiting your 8th house in opposition to Pluto, because Pluto is all about death, there's a very good chance you could have some paranormal activity happen right around the time of this full moon as well. So again, you've got about a month for that to happen. So if you'd like to make contact, like, I don't know, maybe with, someone who's passed on, now's the time to try, probably, especially right around this time, because of the way that, all of this energy is, like, especially with the Pisces energy. But anyway, that's up to you. Let me see, what else did I want to say? I think that's it. Oh my God. And I hope that made sense. And I apologize for like stumbling over my words for everybody that's watching. It's, the sun hitting you right in the eye when you're trying to look at a computer screen can be so distracting. But I'm going to actually stop this and I'm going to ask Angie, what do you say, Angie? Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Like,
A little more on the Palace Athena. You started talking about it and then went off to something else. So I'm kind of curious what you were going to say about that.
oh my God, I forgot now. Hold on, let me pull up my thing. See, you guys, when I say about this neurodivergence thing, this is one of the reasons that I'm like, oh my God, I didn't know what it was. But so I forget stuff a lot. Okay. Like literally, I have lived in this area. I'm 50 years old. Okay. I am 50 years old. I've lived in this area my entire life. I get lost. Okay. Finding places that I have been to a million times. And I'm like, which way am I supposed to go again? Like, I can't remember this. I don't know. But yeah, I literally just learned about this because I was studying this stuff, trying to learn about a friend of mine who has these issues. And I'm like, oh my God, wait a minute. But anyway, so let me go back to that and open the thing real quick. Oh, wait, what did I do? Hold up. Maybe it's right here. Hold up. Pallas Athena, do you remember which, was I talking about your natal chart?
Yes.
Okay, let me go back. I have that one right here. Right here. So your Pallas Athena. Oh no, I know what you're talking about. So Pallas Athena in conjunction to Jupiter. Hold on. And that one is in this one. That is the full moon in Scorpio chart. So Pallas Athena in conjunction to Jupiter. So when you have Pallas Athena, because she is like the warrioress, she fights for women's rights and it's in conjunction to Jupiter. I feel like whatever this is, whatever the emotional thing that might make you have a falling out with somebody, it's attached to feminine issues, feminine power, feeling oppressed, feeling like someone is trying to say that you can't, you're not good enough simply because of being feminine. And there, I think this is a positive thing. And one other thing, oh, that's right. That's right. I'm so happy. Thank you for bringing that up. So one other thing I wanted to bring up about that. So with your this full moon in Scorpio, one of the things that I think you're manifesting, because you were just saying that you got this new job, right? So all of this energy that you have Mercury, Saturn, and Pluto in conjunction in Libra in your 10th house in your natal chart. And remember what I was saying about how when it comes to like your job and in work, like you have this reputation of being really good at your job, right? Like really knowing your stuff and being really good at it. I think that's going to like serve you well because of Saturn coming into conjunction with your moon. We forgot to talk about your moon. You've got the moon in Aquarius. Oh my God, you've got the moon in Aquarius. And you have it in the second house, which is actually a really good thing in terms of money. That doesn't necessarily mean like you're going to be rich or anything. It just means that you know how to make money. Like you don't, even if times are going to be like a little bit hard, like you still know how to take care of yourself and make money. There's no problem with that. Also, like you have a lot of friends, you have a lot of love for friends because your moon is in Aquarius. So for you, like your emotional health is really attached to friendships and your community and your family and being attached to other people. But Saturn is coming into conjunction with that in your money house. And so I think this is where you're going to get like a little bit of a bonus in terms of, or like if you are up here with this Pallas Athena, Jupiter, moon conjunction to your south node, your sun, all of this Venus, if you fight for your rights, like you stand up for yourself and fight for your rights, like don't blow it out of proportion, but use your Jupiter to your advantage, use that charismatic sort of, happy, smiley, like, hey, I'm really good at what I do. And like, I could probably like be nice about it, but like, I could probably get this much if I went here, because I think it's going to benefit you, this experience that you have and all of the, all of the traveling and all of this, the good references and things that you have from your jobs. I think it's going to help you. It's going to give you a little bit like a good something in terms of money coming up with this full moon. Does that answer your question?
Mm-hmm. It does.
Okay. I know I talk too fast sometimes. I can't help it.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine.
Okay. Is there anything else that you wanted to like point out or
No, nothing I can
no?
really think of.
You look so good. I can't get it. Like, oh my God, your hair, you look so good.
Thank
All right. So
you.
what have you been doing?
Just taking things day by day and happy to be back home in Texas. Just really happy to finally be home. Just deep decompressing and trying to not stress out. And you know, I was looking for work and got that situated today, and that'll keep me busy for a couple weeks. And yeah, just kind of happy things are starting to move along now and the going in the right path. So
Good.
it's exciting.
Good. I'm really happy to hear that. I really, really am.
It's gonna be fun. This will be a good little job.
Good. Okay, well, I am so very grateful that you let me do this. Sorry, I'm losing my voice again. I'm gonna go ahead
All
and say
good.
goodbye now and end the video and thank everybody for watching. And you have to let me know like what happens around the full moon, like how things work out, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
Love
I'll
you.
see you later.
Okay, bye.